The results of the latest RWBY poll as to who is RWBY's best girl are now in. The poll actually finished earlier this week, but unfortunately due to school and other things getting in the way, I'm not getting around to it until now. So I apologize for the delay, but let's get into who are the top 10 favorite best girls of the RWBY series, with a few honorable mentions, of course. There was a total of 729 votes, and number 10, coming in with 21 votes, was RWBY's resident bunny girl, Velvet Scarlatina. And I'm really glad that she made this list, because she is honestly a cute, adorable character with a badass fighting style. In Volume 3, able to mimic everyone's weapons using her camera and what we assume is hard light dust, and then mimic everyone's fighting styles perfectly. To be able to do that, whether that's part of her semblance or combat style, is just amazing, and I'm really looking forward to learning what happened to her after the fall of Beacon in the new RWBY manga that's going to be released at the end of June after the fall. And that is going to go over Team Coffee in Vacuo, because they went to Vacuo and are at Shade Academy, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happened to them. And now that I'm mentioning RWBY manga, the results of the RWBY giveaway have been posted in a separate video on the channel, so feel free to go there and find out who was the lucky winner of the RWBY manga. And, well, hopefully we'll see more giveaways in the future. But with that, let's move on with the list. Now, coming in at what I'm going to call 9.5, because what I actually did for a couple characters was, since they were in different forms throughout the series, I put in both of their different forms. For number 9.5, it was Salem, and I put in young Salem when she was uncorrupted, and Salem as she is now, because they look very different, have very different personalities, outlooks on life, etc. So I figured I'd put them in separately and then combine them later on. So Salem got a total of 22 votes, 9 for her current form and 13 for her young form, which I was quite surprised that Salem got so much support, but, you know, she is, especially her younger version, was definitely a kind-hearted person, and now I'm not necessarily so kind, but there might still be hope for her if she can be purified in some way, or still has love in her heart for Ozpin. Maybe she's not entirely corrupted by hate, because we saw in Volume 6, as when she was reunited with Ozma, she wasn't, like, hell-bent on humanity's destruction at that point. She was corrupted, but not entirely evil, I don't think. But, you know, I'm glad to see that she earned a place on this list. Now, coming in at number 9 was someone, again, I'm really happy about making this list, and I honestly didn't expect. With 23 votes, Raven Bronwen. Her aesthetic is absolutely incredible. Her fighting style is amazing. Yang's mother, just an incredible fighter, a leader, and a maiden, all wrapped into one. She's just an incredible character. I really want to see more of her as the series progresses, but now that we're going to Atlas, that may be a little bit difficult unless she uses her portal to get to Yang, but we'll have to see. I'm really glad, though, that she made this list. Now coming in at number 8 was actually Penny Polendina with 28 votes. Someone else that I didn't initially expect to make the list, but now that I'm thinking about it, she does have a lot of love for her in the fandom. Unfortunately, we haven't seen her in a few volumes. Rest in peace, Penny. But there's hope, because if someone was maybe able to save her memory chip or something along those lines, we may encounter Penny again in Atlas, which we're heading to in Volume 7. So either we might encounter Penny herself, or maybe Penny's sister or something, because if they could implant one person with an artificial aura, then they might be able to do that with a second one. So Penny might have siblings. We aren't exactly sure, and we will see in Atlas. Now, number 7 is one of the more main-er characters of the RWBY series, Nora Valkyrie, the first member of Team Juniper to make this list, coming in with 29 votes. Now, Nora did beat out her, well, not necessarily better half, but her other half, Ren. Unfortunately, Ren did not make this list. A couple people didn't get the joke with Nora wearing the pants in the relationship, but of course, Nora did make the list, and she comes in with 29 votes, all electric and happy as she is. It's good to see her getting some love on this list as well. Next on the list is another one I'm going to call 6.5, as it's one that was split into two separate categories as well. Miss Maria Calavera. I split it into her initial form as the Grim Reaper, and then her current form being the old sassy lady that she is. And I split this because, of course, they are two very separate people, and, well, the poll site that I used didn't let me upload two different pictures. So there's also that. But combined, they got a total of 37 votes. 17 for Grim Reaper and 20 for the current version of Maria herself. Of course, she was a fan favorite of Volume 6, with her sassy attitude and especially badassery being the Grim Reaper and teaching RWBY a little bit about the Silver Eyes, helping her to control it. We'll see how that progresses in Volume 7. Unfortunately, I think she might be killed off before the end of the series. But we'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, so let's continue on with the rest of the results. Now, starting at number 6, we get to see how the different members of Team RWBY stand up against each other. Coming in at number 6 is Yang Xiaolong with 40 votes, followed by Blake Belladonna with 46, and then Ruby Rose at number 4 with 59 votes. So RWBY makes sense. She is the main character of the series in general, so she's a bit more popular than the others. Blake and Yang are about the same, only separated by 6 votes. I mean, it kind of does make sense that they are a little bit less popular than the other two, as they are, you know, Ruby and Weiss being the main ones of the series that everyone definitely falls towards, but I'm glad to see that all 4 of them are high up on the list. Leaving, of course, the last 3, Weiss being in the top 3, and the other 2 in the top 3, you can probably guess as to who they are. They are fairly predictable, but at this point, before we get into the predictable area, let's go over some of the honorable mentions. 11th to 15th were only separated by 1 vote each. But number 11, as I mentioned before, with 20 votes, was Maria Calavera. But following her with 12 votes, which I was surprised to see and so happy to see her here, Kali Belladonna, Blake's mother, the other cat girl of the series, only in the RWBY series for volumes 4 and 5. I'm really happy to see her here. I'm happy to see some love for some more minor characters, and, you know, having more cat girls on the list isn't always a bad idea. 13th was Winter Schnee with 18 votes, and she was honestly the one that I was expecting to make the top 10 out of anyone instead of Raven, but you know what? I'm still glad Raven made it up there, and glad to see that there's still all the support for Winter. But you know, maybe once the channel grows a little bit more, I'll definitely repeat this poll, and after Volume 7, I wouldn't be surprised if Winter climbs the rankings, because we're definitely going to get more of her there, especially with Crow going there as well, although different voice actor. But we'll see how their interactions go later on as well. Maybe the ship of Cold Murder, or whatever other name it's based on, because ships have different names out there, but maybe that will also climb the rankings as well. I'll be interested to see as the channel grows if I can get a more representative polling results of the overall RWBY fandom. At number 14 was young Maria as well, Maria the Reaper with 17 votes, and then at 15th was Summer Rose, another one that I figured was going to be just as popular as Winter or Raven, although we know nothing about her, and really nothing about her character, her semblance, anything of that sort, whether she's a maiden, whether she's not. All we know is she's RWBY's mother, has silver eyes, and at the end of Volume 6, when we saw her in RWBY's flashback when she was trying to activate the silver eyes to take care of the Leviathan, well, needless to say, it probably brought a tear to multiple people's eyes, including my own. But still, it's nice to see that she's getting a lot of love on this list. 16th was a two-way tie, each with 14 votes between Ilya and Coco. Two more minor characters, but two very loved characters as well. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be seeing them in the series for a little while, but I'm glad to see that they are on the list as well, as I am with all of the characters, as I seem to keep mentioning. Number 17? Yeah, 17th was an actual three-way tie between Jean, as, you know, he's wearing a dress. Again, the gag character of this, but made it a lot closer to the list than I initially thought. But between Jean, young Salem, and his sister, Saffron, actually tied Jean on this list. I was surprised to see that she made it this high, that she has as much love as she did, but I'm really glad to see her here as well. Then at 18, there was Emerald. Again, I'm happy to see that she's getting some love. And 19th, the reason I wanted to go all the way to 19 was to show the standing of Jin. She got 11 votes, Emerald got 12. You know, not as much, but assuming Jin shows up again in the future, as there's still one more question left, and if we can see more of her personality, as she seems a little bit sassy as well, I'd like to see her move up the list, as she's a minor character, but also a major power in the RWBY series, so we'll see. And maybe the other genies, or Jinn, however they're going to be called throughout the series, will show up here as well, because I'm guessing the other relics might have personalities that are slightly different. So we'll end up seeing. Now let's get to the top 3 best girls that were decided in this RWBY poll. Coming in at number 3 is Pyrrha Nikos with 66 votes. May she rest in peace and maybe return someday. In Volume 6, we got a heartfelt reminder of Pyrrha's existence in this series, with the statue being introduced at Haven Academy for Pyrrha being a stellar student and like an icon in that area. And especially with her having fallen at Beacon Academy, sacrificing herself, knowing that she was the only one to be able to try against Cinder. Definitely brought on the emotions in Volume 6, especially in Volume 3 when that took a turn, as Volume 3 was probably the darkest volume we've had so far, with actual characters, main characters that we followed throughout this series dying. So yeah, I'm really glad that she got the 3rd spot. You know, I had kind of anticipated that she might get number 2, but unfortunately, our number 2 was something I did not expect. Our ice cream queen, Neapolitan, comes in at number 2 with 78 votes. She is not actually the favorite best girl of the series. She is my personal favorite best girl, but the fandom does disagree. She's still high up there at number 2, and throughout the entire poll, I was monitoring it, and she was neck and neck with first place, but never quite able to overcome Weiss, Schnee, being first with 91 votes. You know, both of them were neck and neck at the beginning, but Weiss just kept gaining votes and overtook her. And again, as the channel grows, I'll gladly do this poll again, maybe next summer, maybe after 2 volumes. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see if things might change. I honestly didn't know that Weiss had as much love as she did, but we'll see how things change, if things change, when it comes to Volume 7, because a lot is going to change in the RWBY series, and we'll see how people's interactions happen. Weiss for sure is going to have some interaction with people in Atlas, because she's at the very least going to be recognized, probably meet either her sister or her brother or her father. Maybe we'll actually get introduced to Weiss's mother. We'll see. Neo also has some plans alongside Cinder, which, by the way, Cinder didn't even make top 20. So that was a little bit surprising. There wasn't any love for Cinder Fall. But with that, so ends another RWBY poll for the best girl. We'll see how things go as volumes in the RWBY series continue, and hopefully you guys continue to enjoy these polls. The best boy poll will be active hopefully sometime later this week, and let it go for a week, see how it goes. I do, however, want to give extra props to the person who voted for the shopkeep in this poll. Someone I did not consider, only 1 vote for him, but he definitely qualifies to win every poll that is out there, including, I think someone had also mentioned in the shipping poll, if you ship Shopkeep with Shopkeep, well, that would be the best ship of all. So hopefully you guys enjoy these videos, enjoy these polls. I'm hoping to do more in the future, and hopefully I'll be able to start posting a little bit more as well, and there'll be less hectic weeks, but again, I'll have to see how that goes in the future. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what other polls you'd like to see in the future, and if these results of the Best Girl poll turned out how you expected. But hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.